The human face has 43 muscles capable of creating thousands of different expressions. Most of them are under conscious control, but for about 1/25th of a second, control disappears. Before someone can choose the polite response, before they can smile, before they can remember what they're supposed to look like, the emotional brain acts first. That tiny emotional leak is called a microexpression. It isn't mind reading, it doesn't tell you whether someone is lying. What it does reveal is the emotion that appeared before they had time to hide it. And once you know what to look for, you'll start noticing these split-second leaks everywhere. In business meetings, first dates, interviews, negotiations, and even conversations with people you've known for years. Today, we're decoding 5 of the most revealing microexpressions, and more importantly, what they usually mean beneath the surface. By the end, you'll also know the biggest mistake people make when trying to read others. The first leak is disgust. It happens incredibly fast. One side of the nose wrinkles, the upper lip lifts. Sometimes it's barely noticeable. Sometimes it's only visible for a single frame. Disgust is one of the hardest emotions to hide because it's deeply automatic. Your brain produces it to reject something it considers contaminated, not just physically, but psychologically. Ideas can trigger disgust. People can trigger disgust. Certain behaviors can trigger disgust. That's why this expression often appears when someone hears something that fundamentally violates their values. Imagine you're pitching an idea. The person nods. They tell you it sounds interesting. But just before they answer, one side of their upper lip lifts. Their words say they're considering it. Their face says something else entirely. They're not simply unconvinced. Some part of them is rejecting the idea. The mistake is trying to convince them harder. When disgust appears, logic usually isn't the issue. The emotional decision has already begun. Quick question, have you ever looked back at a conversation and realized someone's face warned you before their words did? Yes or no? The second microexpression is contempt. This one is unique because it's asymmetrical. Only one corner of the mouth tightens and rises. That's what makes it so recognizable. Contempt isn't anger. It isn't disgust. It's superiority. Psychologically, contempt creates distance. It silently communicates, I'm above you. I know better. You're beneath consideration. That's why contempt is one of the strongest predictors of broken relationships and failed partnerships. Think about collaborations. Business partners, coworkers, couples. Two people can disagree constantly and still respect each other. But the moment contempt enters the equation, equality disappears. One person no longer sees the other as an equal. They've mentally stepped onto higher ground. And once that happens, every future interaction is filtered through that hierarchy. If you notice a split-second contempt smirk during what is supposed to be a collaborative conversation, don't ignore it. The words may still sound cooperative. The emotional relationship already changed. The third leak is fear. People often confuse fear with surprise because both raise the eyebrows, but the difference is in the details. Surprise opens the entire forehead. Fear concentrates tension near the center. The brows rise, then pull together, creating small horizontal wrinkles above the nose. Fear isn't always fear of danger. It can be fear of consequences, fear of exposure, fear of failure, fear of losing control. Watch what happens when someone is asked about a missed deadline, or an uncomfortable memory, or an unexpected question. Their words may remain calm. I think everything's fine. I don't remember. No, that shouldn't be a problem. But for a fraction of a second, the center of the forehead tightens. That's often the emotional brain revealing anxiety before the logical brain finishes constructing the response. Notice something important. Fear doesn't automatically mean deception. Sometimes it simply means the topic carries emotional weight. That's a very different conclusion. The fourth cue is anger, not loud anger, not yelling, controlled anger. The eyebrows pull downward and inward, the lower eyelids tighten, the eyes suddenly narrow. This is the face preparing for confrontation. One detail almost everyone misses is the lower eyelid. As it rises, less of the white beneath the iris becomes visible. The eyes become intensely focused, almost predatory. You see this all the time during difficult conversations. Someone speaks calmly, their voice stays level, they even smile. But their eyes tighten, their lower lids rise, their brows compress. Their body hasn't escalated yet, their emotional system already has. Often, this expression appears just before someone interrupts, raises their voice, or launches into an argument. If you catch this early, you can often change the direction of the conversation before it turns into conflict. The fifth cue is the absence of something. A genuine smile. Most people only watch the mouth. That's exactly why fake smiles work. Real happiness doesn't stop at the lips. It activates muscles around the eyes. The cheeks lift, the eyes narrow slightly. Tiny wrinkles appear at the corners. These are commonly called crow's feet. Without them, something important is missing. The mouth is smiling, the eyes never joined. That doesn't automatically mean someone is lying. People fake smiles all the time out of politeness, customer service, family photos, networking events, social situations. But if someone displays a huge smile while their eyes remain emotionally flat, especially during a moment that should naturally produce joy, pay attention. The smile may be social, not emotional. And that difference matters, because genuine emotion almost always recruits the entire face. Manufactured emotion usually recruits only the parts we consciously control. Here's the biggest mistake beginners make. They see one microexpression and immediately decide they know exactly what someone is thinking. That's not how professionals approach it. One expression proves almost nothing. Clusters tell the story, a flash of contempt, followed by a defensive posture, avoiding eye contact, a change in vocal tone. Now you're seeing a consistent emotional pattern. Microexpressions aren't verdicts, they're clues. The goal isn't to catch people lying, the goal is to notice when someone's emotions and words stop matching, because that's often where the most important part of the conversation actually begins. So I'm curious, who is the hardest person for you to read? A coworker? A partner? A family member? Let me know in the comments and tell me why you think they're so difficult to figure out. If you want to go even deeper, watch How to See Through Zenny Mask next. It lays the foundation that makes everything you learn today even more accurate.